Okay, thanks. All right. I appreciate it. Thanks. Well, we are here. This is our our pre-show. The guy that helped me, he's been helping me so many times. He just boom, 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 and we're on. Hey, Alan, how are you tonight?
What's that, brother?
I said, how are you tonight?
Well, I can't complain. I can never really complain. Doing okay.
Yeah.
Learning this brand new software, just getting into audio editing in the 21st century. And so it's a lot easier, but it's a lot harder because the learning curve is incredible. But it is awesome. I am having a great time.
I can ask you. You have a friend that he knows like WordPress, right?
Oh, sure.
Okay, because we are launching a third website that's going to be just focusing towards like the radio and stuff. And we're going to just do it with WordPress because I wanted to have a different feel.
Well, before you sent that email out yesterday, why I was going to surprise you and say that I've got a domain already set up as well. So we might, if you're down, we could have 4. Shoot.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah, and then also I added something else to our topic. It was topic 3, Maxine Waters, when she told that senator to shut his mouth, and now she's in what's that city that's about to erupt because of the trial of that George
The
Floyd.
Chauvin, whatever that trial.
Yeah, the George Floyd. She's down there telling them, we want to pump it up. We want to keep this moving along. And I'm thinking like, this woman is typical of the Democrats. They want to divide and conquer, and that keeps them in power. Instead of her going to her community and lifting them up, she's just an instigator in this other community, perhaps going to get some of people that look like her killed and others killed because she's out there instigating violence. And nobody's going to say,
point that you make.
And nobody's going to say anything about it because why? Because Democrats get away with murder. That's all I can imagine. They get away with murder.
Well, it is most assured that ships should rise on all tides. That basically means that, if one is in the position to help another one, and they can, they should. Not everybody thinks that way, but it takes all kinds to make the world go round, and it is understandable. So I guess that's where we're at.
Yeah, and I'm looking at how because we have such access to information, you can see certain patterns in people's life. I've been looking at another rapper died. I didn't listen to any of his music, and I listened to a little bit of it when I heard about him. Something about Black Red, Daddy Red or Black Red. I'm not sure what it was. But anyway, you could tell that he went to prison and he he was just kind of like living on the edge, eating badly, and he died at 51 of kidney failure. You could just tell by his lifestyle that was going to be the root. DMX, same thing. By his lifestyle, that was going to be the ending. And then George Floyd, he was a walking time bomb. And just so happened that this incident got him there a lot quicker. And on the talk shows today, they're talking about, well, they got all this money and they won't have to work for many years. But I have heard of people who got a lot of lotto money and they ran through that money like water. So just because you got a lot of money, if you don't know how to make that money work for you, and the only thing that's happening is money's going out, but no money's coming in, that it doesn't matter if it's millions, 27 million, or
doesn't matter if it's 20 cents.
It will be gone. And these people don't hit me as financial wizards, or they would have been halfway there already.
It is most assured that economics isn't taught with the alacrity that it should be in schools, and the real idea of how money is made. And really, honestly and truly, what money actually is. And even into where it's going with the cryptocurrency and the digital, way of things. It's going to make things a lot more convenient in the short term, and in the long term, why, we'll just have to see.
Yeah, and let's see what I had to. Oh yeah, I was thinking about a story. I knew this lady, and she had married this guy, and she was just pressuring him because she said, we need to make more money. We need to make more money. Now they had a $10,000 insurance plan, and that's not a lot of money. I mean, but maybe when did this happen? In the early 90s, maybe $10,000 was more than what it was now. But he decided we need more money. And in order to get more money, he would commit suicide because he loved his wife.
On the insurance or what?
Yeah, the collective insurance. And he did it. I mean, he drove off in the car and shot himself in the head, and she got the $10,000. Now, I think she went back down to Arkansas where the houses were cheaper. And she went and got a house with it. Now, who knows if she kept that house? Her name is Naomi, right? Naomi. And I'm thinking like, what a knucklehead. Because I'm thinking like, okay, could you not figure out another way to get this woman the money?
The most fascinating way to, that's definitely not a get rich quick scheme that will help us. But.
Yes. And I'm thinking like,
we humans, I tell you, I mean, if somebody were to come down and see what we were doing, some great and high and mighty being, some race of beings, man, if they were to come down, why, they were to see what we were doing, I wonder what they'd think.
Wait. That leads into the 18, was it 18 minutes or was it 18 second UFO video that was filmed in July of 2019.
Yeah.
And we're just now hearing about it, unless you heard about it before, like a little teaser, and then they
of course there have been rumors, going around for a while. In fact, I remember a couple of months ago when we were doing something or other, and I kind of randomly mentioned there'll probably end up being disclosure by June. I'd imagine there'll be something along those lines. I mean, you got the Pentagon, you got the Navy, you know, they're both coming out and saying, yeah. And the guy on Tucker Carlson, I guess it was, is pretty adamant about, what was it? Multiple, not even just one, but multiple, like a fleet of these guys.
And man, you know, I was told to my wife, it's like, if they come through the window, like, you know, like appear in the bedroom and say, you have a choice, you can hang out here or you can come take a ride with us. I think I would take the ride.
Yeah, it reminds me of an old country song that I heard a long time ago. And I can't ever find it ever again, but the lyrics started with "Mr. Spaceman, take me for a ride." And oh my, oh my, oh my, that was the funniest song ever.
Yeah, because I mean, okay, we would have to negotiate. I don't want to be just a guinea pig for the ride, but that might be their plan. Because I was remembering reading about it was a black and white couple back in 1959 that they were driving home and then they got abducted and they lost 3 hours of time. And then when they went into regression, you know,
oh, and then they remembered all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, and it was one thing like, you know, at the time I guess he was wearing false teeth, and the aliens thought it was kind of funny that you could take the teeth out and in, and I think they did a few probing kind of things.
I think that's where the probing rumor probably originated.
Yes. So
That,
we have to negotiate. I said no probing because I'm just not suited for that kind of
probing. Suited for that. Space suit. Oh boy, you made it funny there, John. That's pretty good, John.
So I mean, so we have to do a little negotiating. Being, you know, just and I guess they talk through mental telepathy. So it's back and forth with the mind and so forth. But
nice.
Like I said, I'm at the age I am now. I mean, you know, how many more years I have.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, I got 20 years to get it together, 5 years to enjoy it, and then the rest of it's all done. Yeah. You know, if I even have that much. Yes, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh, and I gotta tell you something. I just learned today. I've been getting ready for a fast. So I've been drinking a lot of water. And I was listening to this video yesterday about how some of the foods that we eat are dehydrating to the body.
Yeah.
So, you know, I sometimes I have a craving for like fish burgers and fries. And so my wife, she said, Johnny, we have two choices. We could either go home, make spaghetti and broccoli, or we can continue on to Burger King. So I said, no, let's go to Burger King, right? And so we got there, boom, boom, boom. So get home, feels just awful, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then I started drinking water, and I guess maybe my body was saying you're dehydrated. You have to, you know, because you ate all this dead food, so hydrate. Because I've been doing a water. I got this app that tells me to drink water every hour, right? And at first I thought it was too much, but it maybe one day I got to bring somebody to the show. We had to talk about this. You know, I had a little rash here, like a rash and something like that. And from what I understand from a healthy alternative, this guy named Chris, that's your body throwing out
some of the toxins.
Toxins, yeah. And because I'm like, well, what's going on? He was like, do I need to lotion my side? You know, because it was like this rash.
It's fascinating.
And and then I've been feeling also like cold in my hands, right? And that's also the body
poor circulation.
Like also, well, the body is building up immunity, so you feel like you have flu symptoms, but it's your body adjusting and building up your immunity. Because I had this feeling before. When I first started doing like powdered vitamin C, this Dr. Gerardo, and we'll talk to him someday. He says, hey, if you want to cleanse your body, you know, at least once a week, whatever, you take this vitamin C once an hour until it moves things out of you, right? but in the meantime, because it's such a forceful detoxin, your hands are shaking, you're cold, you think like you're coming down with something, but it's just your body immunity going up to red alert and pushing stuff out. And I didn't understand it. I called him. I said, "What's going on? You know, my fingers are shaking." He says, "Just keep drinking water. Keep drinking water." And I did it, and it passed. But it was so. You know, it's not written on the bottle. You know, heavy detoxification. Are some of the symptoms. You know, and it was just unusual, because usually, like when you fast for a long time, you might go through those heavy talk. And if you heard Dolly Parton, I guess she does it every like once a year or something like that. And she says, "Oh, the headaches and all that kind of stuff." And she does it religiously. I think once a year, goes through like a month of detoxification. So just, you know, we have so much information around us. And if there is these aliens coming here from another planet, just imagine if we say, plug me into that information, would our mind just explode? If we say, hey, put that information in my head, because it's like mental telepathy, right? So you're going back mentally, you're not saying any words, but could you imagine like saying, okay, fill me up with the information that you know, because obviously your ship can move in ways that our airplanes, helicopters can't move. So there's some kind of technology with that. And they have the shape it has, like it looks like a pyramid. Like we make our airplanes look like pretty much like a bird. A helicopter looks like
it's like a sort of fish looking thing with
flippers on top.
Propeller flippers. I don't even know.
And nobody, as far as I know, that develop a ship that looked like a pyramid.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. That's pretty intense. Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm learning that audio software, and I will tell you, my head feels like it's exploding. And just doing that stuff, and boy, oh boy, oh boy, that. Well, you know, you're a broadcaster, so you know. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we do. Is what Johnny does. I just kind of cog in the wheel, kind of learning some things. But yes, pretty interesting. You know. It'll be good to meet those guys if they exist, and if they exist in the demonic realm, like some of those folks. Why, it'd be good to meet those too. Join those battle with Jesus Christ. That's also what we're about here. You know, I mean, honestly, the eternal is the only thing that's eternal. Well, that's why they call it eternal,
right?
And your salvation is what is eternal.
Oh, and if you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up, subscribe. And it really helps us with the algorithm. We're trying to build up to like 100 subscribers or followers, so we can monetize the YouTube and some of the other channels that we're on. We're getting some from MeWe, which I didn't. I guess we're on there. I got like a friend request. So people are watching these different things, and then as they come across it, you know, give us a thumbs up, and it just helps us to get it to another level of donations, and you can even do directly paypal.me/Innervision Denver. That's paypal.me/Innervision as well. So many ways to support what we do. Right. So I'm just thinking like, you know, there's so many things out there. I mean, there's things even in the bottom of the ocean that we don't know yet. I mean,
that's absolutely right.
And
I mean, they just discovered species a couple of months ago.
Yeah. So I mean, there's still so much to find out of microcosm. I don't know if you ever. I used to love watching these old movies from the 50s, and it was this movie called The Incredible Shrinking Man, and he got to the point where he was you know, getting smaller and smaller, and he got to a point where I think it was about the size, a little smaller than like a Barbie doll or something like that. And I guess there was some bread or something like that, but there was a spider that wanted that bread too. And he had to, you know, push these big scissors off the table, kill the spider to get to the bread. But the wife, she had came back and she thought the cat had eaten him because she couldn't hear it. He was so small.
Find him, right?
And so she, they said, they left the house and he was still there. But then, as he was getting smaller, he was becoming a part of a scene that we don't normally see, but it's still out there. I mean, there's viruses, there's molecules that maybe with the human eye we can't see, but yet they exist. I thought it was just a fascinating conversation that if you get so small that you start becoming part of that realm, what does that realm look like?
That's interesting. I wonder. Wow.
Yeah. And I like to see more movies like that where people explore. It seemed like it was just a bunch of copycats. I guess maybe they had more time back then. There was less distractions, so they had time to think and write.
Well, and that's, I think, a lost art. I think a lot of people truly read books and truly immersed themselves in hard copy things. And so they were grounded in the real world. They were practical. Whereas we have all the information right here at our fingertips, but yet we can't figure out how to. I watched this video about 6 months ago, I guess, and this person was trying to figure out what a can opener was, a manual can opener. And somebody told them, "Oh, it's just a can opener," and they're like, "Well, how do you use it?" And they apparently had the camera running, and they just filmed this person trying to puzzle out how to use a can opener. And that's interesting because we have more information, more technology than, well, as far as we know, than we've ever had.
Yeah. And it seemed like if you had a measuring tape and you measured like when we had these bursts of information, it seemed like when we got the most of it is just like maybe a half a millimeter on that ruler, because like we've been trucking along without a lot of the stuff. I remember I read in a book of this lady in New York. She developed the heating where it blows out heat, central heating, because she was cold. She was tired of being cold. She was living in New York. And she said, well, it must be a way to develop something where we can bring central heating into this, I don't know, house, apartment. And out of that necessity, she and maybe some other people developed this and then patented it in December of, I think I don't know if it was 1914 or somewhere along those lines. But now, you just think that it's always been here.
Interesting.
Central heating, air conditioning. And for those who just came along 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you're now entering into the world where we have all these comforts, all these comfort things around that didn't exist maybe 50 or 60 years ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember, like cars, the material they used to make cars out of, I would say like 50 years ago was a heavier metal.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It was definitely metal. A lot of cars are made out of, well, a lot of people joke and say plastic, but you got your fiberglass and you've got your epoxies and your different things, but they're definitely not as well made.
Yeah. Now I know I know we had. I know we were going to get into all the lies that Joe Biden has told, and sometimes it makes my head spin when I think about a pathological liar. And I went to school with a pathological liar, John Gallagher, and it was so funny that when we would leave school, the teacher would have to strip search Gallagher because if something was missing, because we had show and tell time, and if something was missing, because the teacher would say, don't take those your show and tell things out to the playground, leave it on the back window shelf, and then so we would go out to lunch, and he would circle back, and if it was something that he wanted, like a Matchbox car, he would put it in his shoe and walk normally. I don't know if you've ever seen a Matchbox car.
That would have to be painful.
Well, he made it work. I mean, and the teacher would have to say, take off your shoes, take off, and she would almost like pat him down, because if something was missing, we knew that it had to be him.
Interesting.
And even later on, and if I hadn't known him back in grade school, later on, I had him over my house, and me and my wife, it was like 91, 90, and we were reading she was reading a newspaper, and back when we had newspapers, and she was looking for the TV guide, and he stole the TV guide while she wasn't looking. I wasn't looking, and we said, "Where's the TV guide?" And at the time we didn't think, like, he waited for the time, folded it up, put it in his pocket, and we would have gave it to him. And so from there on, I would never let him into my house, because when I got lost more of my sight, I said, I can't be following this guy around, and I don't want to pat him down to see what he might or might have not taken. And I'm thinking Joe Biden is this pathological liar who happens to be 48 years in the Senate. Now he's the president, no, he's a part of this regime. I can't call him a president because of the way that they got in, but I think he's just a pathological liar. And many people in there are pretty much the same. Let me see. Where? Okay, here we go. Now let me go to some, because I can remember them all. Okay, first one was his lie about receiving 80 million votes. Don't believe it. Second one, unity between the parties. It's not happening. Killing oil production. He said he wouldn't do it. So he got in office, he signed a bill, destroyed those oil jobs, making a pipeline. Protecting our borders. So he got in. They didn't have a plan to protect our borders, and they just tore up what the contract that was made before. And Georgia voting laws, that was a bunch of lies right there. Saying it's being like Jim Crow. Massive stimulus bill with only 10% of it going towards COVID, and the rest of it going towards pork. Mass protecting us, so making that in federal buildings and other federal ran things, being a protector, and Fauci could jump in there with being a liar, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And so when you have a pathological liar, and you give that pathological liar power, do they deceive themselves to think that people just are not going to see, are just not going to? And now that we have videotape, we can go back to 1981 when he was saying how unconstitutional it would be to pack the courts. And now you spin forward, and now that's part of the conversation. But we got the younger Biden saying one thing, and then we have the older Biden saying just the opposite. And I'm just saying, like, wow, we got a history book, video history book, where we can actually go back and say, but you said this. And whether you say you evolved or whatever, evolved to a better liar or a different type of liar, or just a better pathological liar.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's interesting because we do live in some interesting times. I will say that for sure.
yeah, and we're doomed to repeat it. And some like these people are being played like pawns, and some of them are willing pawns, and some of them they are just, well, like I said, meh,
Sheep
sheep,
followers.
just following along. And where is the pendulum going to stop? And it seems like, oh, I just had this thought. Tell me what you're thinking. There's a mastermind over this stuff. Somebody is over this stuff saying, okay, let's play a game. But the game is using real people, real death, real damage, real destruction. And there was a time where, like back in the South, when you weren't judged by the content of your character, you were judged by the color of your skin, and some people got preferential treatment over the other. Now it looks like the pendulum swung back the other way and said, well, it was fun doing that for a while. Now we're tired of that. Let's swing the pendulum the other way. And now we could say, now that you of this other persuasion, now you get preparational treatment. Now you get a job based on not what you know, but what you look like. And forget about that Martin Luther King stuff about be judged by your character. Yeah, just you weren't even born at that time. Yeah, and so it looks like somebody is the puppeteer, and these people are acting like they're willing participants. And then it's us that we have a clear mind, and we can just sit back and say, what are we in the Twilight Zone? And this could really be made an episode of the Twilight Zone 2021.
It's interesting because if we were to take this particular time period, a snapshot of it, and transport it back to script writers 40, 50 years ago and hand this to them, it would be interesting to see just their reaction, what they would say, what they would do, how they would react. 1971, you hand somebody the script of what's going on. This is 50 years ago. And man, how many people would laugh? How many people would take it seriously? How many people would prepare?
What you say? No way, that could never happen. But here we are, right? And we don't know how this is going to either go to the middle, or will it swing far back to the other side again? And then is it a generation of puppeteers that their parents did it, and then they taught their children to do this, and then they were in that upper echelon of the half 1% or less than 1%, and said, okay, let's just have fun with it, with this, even though there's real people dying, real suffering, just like this. This sexual trafficking. These kids have phone numbers written on their arms when they get to this country, written by this cartel. So they will be used either as drug dealers, sexual toys, or something else in order for the cartel to get back the money. Now, I will not believe that the Republicans don't know about this, and the Democrats don't know about this, but they act like, well, we got to do it the governmental way. We can't just stop this from happening. We just have to let it go its course, and then eventually, once we get back in power, we can reverse it. But in the meantime, think about the mental destruction, the damage, mental damage that is being done to these young people and the ones who are generating money off of this. And like you heard me say this before, you can't sell drugs when there's no desire for people to buy it. So somebody in this country is buying the stuff. Somebody's in this country is buying the sexual favors from children, whatever. Somebody is buying that stuff. It's just not, nobody's got, they're not making money just thinking that it will work. Somebody this is actually working this. And I let me throw this other thing out. When you have those conventions, you have a lot of homosexual activity from Republicans that you thought, well, they're Christians and all that. You have a lot of sexual things going on. You have a lot of things going on during these conventions. Nobody talks about it because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And then you have on the left, who's maybe a little bit more honest, saying, oh, Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, we're a power couple. And yes, Bill Clinton, he strays off. But Hillary says, well, hey, we're going to stick together because together we're a power couple. And, whatever Bill is doing is what Bill does.
Wow. That's very interesting, Johnny.
So I guess I have too much time on my hands, man, because I think about this stuff a lot.
I used to think about that stuff a lot too, and then I picked up this weird bug to try to do something else, something that might be productive, like learning this weird software, man. And now I'm lost.
Yeah. Well,
I don't even know, man. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff with this new stuff. I mean, it's not new. I mean, it's been around for a while, and but it's all in one. I mean, you don't have to pay for too much stuff. I mean, it's not too exorbitant. So, for what it is, it's a good tool.
Yeah.
It's a good toolbox.
Yeah, and sometimes, you need those distractions because sometimes when it gets too crazy, when you think about these things that are going on, it's almost like it's like when the lights go out, even though you can't see it, there are creatures and things flying around and crawling around, and you may not see it, and it doesn't concern you because you don't see it. You figure, I turn off the light. Just like I was sleeping at night, and it felt like something like went up my nose. I'm thinking like, now wait a minute, what if these little, I don't know, what are the, whatever is in pillows, whatever. They say, hey, he's asleep. Let's go play in his head a little bit, But if you're asleep, you don't know it. All kinds of things could be running up and down you and inside you, and you're dead to the world. And then they say, well, morning's here. Let's leave and go back out to the outside world. We played in his brain long enough, so let's go out. And that's a thought. Oh, man.
It's a thought, all right.
So eventually I'll be back into, because I'm kind of into the Sound Forge, and I have a month. Tomorrow we're gonna be talking about how to get your music in the top 200 Billboard, because I invited about 300 musicians.
I saw that.
A lot of them open up the email, and I'm going to send out another one tomorrow through mail. I'm using this thing called MailChimp, so I can see how many people actually open it up.
Right.
And so we're going to be talking about that tomorrow, and in about mid-May, I'll be on a vacation, but we're going to open up a song writer performance contest, and have some fun with that too. I just came up with that concept and have.
Hey, interesting.
Yeah. So some fun things coming up. Even though I'll be on like a little vacation, there'll be things happening, and we might, just because of the time period, switch the show to 9 o'clock in the morning, because that'd be 5 o'clock in the evening where I'm going to be in Europe.
Yes.
So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. And let me go back into the depths of my mind again and continue this.
You're on fire, Johnny. You're on fire.
All right. So we'll come back with some like our topic tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see you folks tomorrow, and we'll have lots of fun. UFOs and all this other stuff aside, we will be here, God willing. And well, if not, we have our traveling arrangements all taken care of. And if not, it's easy to get saved today.
Oh yes, definitely. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up, share, and tell your friends to tell a friend, and all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Right. Dog says hello.
All right. All right. God bless. See you tomorrow.
God bless.
All right.